Dedicated, determined, dependable. This is News 10 ABC in the morning.
We're going to go all over this country because that is what the political revolution is about.
Where we go from here, Bernie Sanders expected to make a big speech as he pays another visit to the capital region.
And we will have much more on that visit coming up for you. But first, we're following that major breaking news overnight. British Prime Minister David Cameron announcing his plans to resign as Great Britain votes to leave the European Union.
But the British people have made a very clear decision to take a different path. And as such, I think the country requires fresh leadership to take it in this direction.
David Cameron making that announcement to step aside after the final result was announced earlier this morning, saying he will attempt to steady the ship over the coming weeks and months.
The Prime Minister had urged the country to vote Remain, warning of economic and security consequences, which are already being felt across the country, really around the world. Trishna Begum is live in the media center with a look at the global impact this historic vote is expected to have. Trishna.
Nicole, this is a period of huge uncertainty for Britain as David Cameron steps down. Now, already this morning, just in the last few minutes, we're seeing presidential candidates here in the U.S. tweeting about this, talking about the Brexit vote. Donald Trump tweeting from Scotland saying it's a great day, especially when added to the brave and brilliant vote. He's in Scotland this morning, and he is expected to make a speech on the Brexit vote any minute now, and we will try to bring that to you if we can get that up live. But meanwhile, we're already seeing the financial ramifications of this vote. It is shocking investors around the world who thought that this might not have happened. The British pound taking a beating overnight, plummeting against the dollar to a 30-year low. Here in the U.S., stocks are pointing sharply lower to a decline. The Dow is expected to open down 700 points. Some economists already predicting Britain's vote could cause a global recession.
Across the world, people have been watching the choice that Britain has made. I would reassure those markets and investors that Britain's economy is fundamentally strong. And I would also reassure Brits living in European countries and European citizens living here that there will be no immediate changes in your circumstances.
Now, those who voted to leave the European Union mostly were concerned about immigration and the threat of terrorism. European Union leaders this morning are warning Britain to leave the EU quickly and avoid prolonging uncertainty. Meanwhile, we are watching when Donald Trump takes the podium in Scotland to talk about this vote. If we can get that live feed up, we will bring that to you, so stay with us on air and online.
Thank you. Let's get over to meteorologist Nick Johnston now with a look at what is shaping up to be another beautiful weekend forecast.
It is. It absolutely is, Nicole. Let me show you what's happening right now. Beautiful. Just beautiful. Check that out. That's Saratoga Lake right now. And this is a live picture. We're talking about calm conditions out on the lake, barely a breath of wind. Beautiful start. Same goes for the sky, where you're not going to find any clouds. That's it. Otherwise, it's going to be mostly sunny, pleasant. We're looking at 54 in Albany, 48 Johnstown, 49 at Lake Pleasant. If it's cool now, it won't be for long. For the kids who do still have school, some do, 50s to near 60 this morning. Just as warm as yesterday, 78 to 84 this afternoon. Warm and pleasant with a light variable wind. No worries today. Coming up, I'll show you when we'll see our next chance for showers or storms, but it won't be tomorrow. Details in a few minutes. Christina, Nicole.
That's the welcome presidential hopeful Bernie Sanders got on his first stop in a two-day trip to New York.
And this will be the second visit to the capital region for his campaign. Today, he'll be at the Empire State Plaza.
That's right. That's where we find News 10ABC Samantha Damasio this morning, live with the details on today's speech. Expected to be a big crowd there, Sam.
That's right, and he had a big crowd last time when he was here at the Armory, and despite not getting enough supporters for that Democratic nomination, he still has not dropped out. In fact, he says he's just getting started. Again, this is the video you're seeing now. This is from when he was at the Armory ahead of those April primaries. Now he'll be here at the Egg. He'll talk about his so-called political revolution that challenged Hillary Clinton's campaign. And while he has refrained from endorsing Clinton, last week he did vow to help her defeat Donald Trump.
I mean, it's hard almost to imagine a man who has such limited capabilities becoming president.
And this event is free. The doors will open here at the Louis Swire Theater inside the Egg at 11 o'clock this morning. And you can depend on News 10 to be there, and we'll have full coverage for you both on air and online. We're live in Albany. Samantha Damasio, News 10 ABC.
Thank you, Sam. Albany police and the FBI investigating a hate crime at the Damien Center. The LGBT banner that hangs in front of the temporary center at First Lutheran Church was found torched yesterday. But the community is stepping in to help here. Councilman Judd Crasher donated a flag from Romeo's on Lark Street, and the Pride Center also giving the center an LGBT banner. The center's executive director saying that support is why they won't let this hate crime keep them quiet.
Too many times, people living with AIDS, our history is about suffering in silence and shame and discrimination. Well, no more on that.
If you have any information about this case, you're urged to call Albany Police.
A prestigious private school in the Capital Region is apologizing for sexual abuse allegations dating back to the 1970s. In a letter from the head of the Emma Willard School in Troy, sexual abuse allegations against school employees are detailed through the 1990s. The most recent came in April, charging that a student was sexually assaulted back in 1998. That same year, 2 teachers were dismissed for inappropriate relationships with students. The letter apologizes and says the all-girls school leaders were not aware of sexual assault allegations at that time. 2 more employees at a now closed school for boys have been arraigned following allegations of abuse there. That brings the number of former Eagleton school employees facing charges to 15. Damian Sinclair and Isaac Harrisell are each facing several charges, including assault and battery. Harrisell is facing the most charges in this case. Both have pleaded not guilty.
A water shortage in South Glens Falls is forcing homeowners to conserve. The village of South Glens Falls issued a voluntary ban with mandatory recommendations on water usage outdoors. Village officials say their springs are able to produce about 750,000 gallons of water per day. But when the water usage goes above that number, the water runs out fast. And the warm winter also brought little snow, meaning less water in the springs this time of year.
Hoosick Falls police investigating reports that people are soliciting money by telephone and social media for homeowners dealing with water contamination. Police say this is absolutely a scam. If you have gotten a message to donate money, you're asked to call Hoosick Falls Village Police. Also, the fight continuing against PFOA. Senator Kirsten Gillibrand sent a letter to the EPA yesterday calling for federal regulators to use the new toxic reform bill to find out if the chemical should be restricted or banned completely. She said the EPA could look into the long-term effects of exposure and make sure communities are better protected.
Pharmacies here in New York State are now allowed to collect and dispose of unwanted medication. Governor Cuomo recently signing the legislation, and state regulators are encouraging all pharmacies to become authorized collectors of unused, expired, and unwanted drugs under federal controlled substances disposal rules. This is being done so consumers won't pollute the waterways by flushing drugs down the toilet.
Today, the American Cancer Society will honor a local police officer with its first ever red, white, and blue party. Troy police officer Nick Culinary will be honored at the Saratoga National Golf Course for his courageous fight against cancer, as well as his commitment to keeping his community safe. He'll receive the Hero of Hope Award at tonight's party, which starts at 7. Admission starts at $100 and includes a gourmet barbecue and live music.
Albany spray pads will open today. This is a day earlier than usual to help people beat the heat that we've been seeing so far this summer, and it's going to be a hot weekend. All 11 of the city spray pad locations will be open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. 7 days a week. Mayor Kathy Sheehan says it's a great way for people to have fun and also to stay cool. And how about this? The town of Wilton giving people another chance to cool off with Gavin Park's brand new Splash Park. The ribbon cutting ceremony starts at 11 this morning, and the new addition to Gavin Park includes 23 water features as well as picnic tables and benches. The park will be open daily from 11 in the morning until 7 p.m. Admission is $2 for people who live in Wilton and $5 for those who live outside of Wilton.
6:39 right now, 54 degrees on this Friday morning. A great weekend to hit the water, especially if you like fish.
That's because it is free to fish all weekend. Jimmy Marlowe showing us how to make the most of it.
It is free fishing weekend, and when you come back, we'll be telling you some events where you can exercise that option.
Quick look outside. How about this? It's gorgeous out there. Northway at exit 6. Looking at 54 degrees in Albany right now. It's going to be a fantastic day. Hot and humid weekend. Nick will have the details. Wake up at 10.
You're watching News 10 ABC. Dedicated, determined, dependable.
So where